Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction interview for the morning show, season 1, episode 3. We are moving right along into
Mhm.
this season. And this episode to me, it was really engaging, but also really weird. And I don't want to say nostalgic for me because I'm not comparing my own experiences to that of Bradley being on UBA, but I was as a part of my college morning show that I occasionally went on to talk
Oh,
about
Matt.
television. It there was something kind of fun about going in there in the studio for the first time and like sitting behind the chair in my suit. And I had on like the full suit. And then, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. There were some other anchors that were there that had on the full suit on the top and were wearing like gym shorts on the bottom. And I was just like looking at these people and being like, seriously, are you guys kidding me? But it's a fun feeling being in the studio, feeling all that. I think I was more excited about it, honestly, than Bradley was in this episode.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that because while I really like this episode and I'm really enjoying the first season a lot, I feel like the Bradley character needed to have a little more balance in this. This just felt like she didn't want to be there. She was so unhappy. She said no multiple times and she did not want to be there. She was going home. And for a character who does what she says, it felt kind of tough to believe that she was going to stay when she said no, because when she says no, no means no. And if she wants to go home, she's going home. So, because there was so much of that in this episode, there needed to be a tiny bit better of a balance of showing her just kind of like a little bit excited to sit in the chair. There was a tiny bit of it, but it was so small that it was like if you blink, you missed it. And I know it's hard because she doesn't have anybody there that she, is close with or that she can talk to. So it's difficult to kind of show that there is some excitement. But Reese Witherspoon is so good. I
Yeah.
mean, she can show that in a bunch of different ways, and it just kind of feels like they missed that opportunity to show a little bit of her kind of being like, yeah, a big part of me is like, get out, like
Yeah.
you, this isn't for you, go home, sort of thing. But that there is another part of her that's like, big opportunity, man. Like maybe I should just kind of grab it for now and then parlez-vous that into something else when I feel like it.
Well, we'll get into a lot of the things that they could have done. Like, I'll have a take about Reese Witherspoon that I'm excited to debate with everybody in the comments. But before we go,
Me too. Man,
yeah,
I love her.
see, yeah, this. Trust me, I'm
Uh-oh.
not. No, it's fine. I'm not coming. I don't have anything negative to say about Reese Witherspoon.
Okay.
I am not going into those waters. Like I do not want to fight today on the internet. All right, before we
Or
go,
in this video with me because I
no,
live in the Reese Witherspoon
I
waters.
I am too. It's fine. All right. Be sure to join our Patreon. We got a link in the description below. Every Tuesday night, we have a live stream over there talking about the morning show.
Yep.
Also, if you guys are already on Apple TV Plus and you're prepared for the morning show to premiere, check
Hmm.
out our coverage of Hijack. Excellent. Idris Elba. What can you not love about Hijack? Also, Shrinking. We are going
Hmm.
through the first season of that.
Yeah, we are. We're also covering some other stuff coming up next month, like American Horror Story, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon's
Yeah.
coming up. I mean, there's a lot going on here at the channel, so hit that subscribe button.
Okay. Reese Witherspoon's time. I'm not even gonna say
Oh
this.
my goodness, I have on my hard hat. Let's
You
go.
don't
Oh
need the
no.
heart tat. You don't need this is nothing negative at all. As a matter of fact, this is actually the complete opposite
Okay, it
because
better be. We can have a knife
no,
fight.
there's no knife fight. Put your knives away. Okay. Is there a more likable just performer than Reese Witherspoon? And what I mean by that is if you're just sort of thinking about an actress or an actor and you like picture the word likable, who comes up? I can't think of many people who would come up before Reese Witherspoon. Like, honestly, like, I could make my 8 millionth Pedro Pascal joke, but like, if you're talking about like people who have been in the spotlight for over a decade, usually there's a lot happens that sort of makes people be like, you know who I don't like anymore? Blah, blah, Reese Witherspoon. But I don't. She is so, I think, inherently likable to a lot of people
Mhm.
that what you said is so accurate because there's so much that they could tap into when it comes to sort of like that likable quality of her. Like, I think they tried to show a little bit of it with her sort of suggesting all these different possible pitches and
Mhm.
things that the morning show could do, that she's ambitious, but there's a difference between being ambitious and being, excited for an opportunity.
Mhm.
And they could play that out a little bit more to show sort of how Bradley really kind of got into all this in the first place.
Yeah, the thing about it is just she's in such a difficult spot because she's really smart. She knows
Yeah.
that, Alex has made this huge announcement. She's going to be the co-host. Nobody spoke to her. She even said that. She's like, "Nobody talked to me. I know you guys haven't vetted me. So what is going on? Like I'm not here to be the fall guy for whatever it is you guys are putting together or to be a pawn in some sort of back and forth between Alex and, the studio and the network, that they're having some sort of problem. You guys are, lobbing me back and forth, for your own gains. Like, I'm not here to play that game. Put me on a plane. I'm going home." And I understand that side of it. And they played up that side of it throughout the whole episode. Yeah. But for me, it's just, where was the other side of it? We saw it very briefly when she was going in to do rehearsals and, looking around the studio and sort of like, okay, this could be something, but that was it. It was
Yeah.
a lot more just hitting and hitting and hitting back at this, where it was just kind of like it needs more balance.
My favorite part of all of this, and the shots fired on Ray Drummond in this episode, where they're talking about the Pioneer. I was like, you know what? I'm not saying I dislike any of the food or the recipes of one Ray Drummond, but the idea of the Pioneer woman, every time I hear, if I think Pioneers, I'm thinking Oregon Trail, which a very fun game. We can all agree on
Oh,
the
it's
excellence.
so hard.
It is unbelievably hard. Nobody wants to die of dysentery, but like that lie, there's something very funny and organic about Bradley and seeing her approach to news. And this is what I'm most excited to see, is her sort of get in here. We don't need the knife fight because she's got the knife that she can use to sort of hack her way through all of the typical morning news minutia and these like just ridiculous anecdotal statements that make everybody into the same person. I really hope that they allow her to kind of express her authority over some of this.
Anybody else liking her relationship with Corey? Because there's something going on there that just feels very no BS, very genuine between them. And I'm not saying necessarily romantic, but like a respect, that she's not afraid of him. And he seemingly is very excited to have somebody on his staff that is not afraid of him, that will give him respect as well, because he also seems to be kind of fighting everybody. He's
Yeah.
fighting Alex, he's fighting Fred. He's newer to the team. He's trying to carve out his own space of, how does he work in here? And then here's Bradley, who's somebody who will call him out and he'll call her out, but in a way that they both sort of have respect for each other in it. Seeing them go on that shopping spree and just have a bit of a deeper conversation, it looks like Corey doesn't really have those talks with anybody.
No, and that's a big question I have for Corey is, are we supposed to like Corey? Because he has these parts of him that are likable and interesting, but he also has these parts of him, and this may be just my own sort of disdain for a lot of big business executives in general, that I just want to roll my eyes at some of the things that he says, but he is a better, more interesting executive than I would say any other person on this show currently is.
Yeah, he's also very smart. Like, one of the things, the conversations that they had where, Bradley was like, "Listen, I'm not just here to be like this person that you exactly think that I am, kind of thing, and just to fit me into this mold to be like the next Alex or this, perfect little anchor." And he's just like, "That's not what I'm looking for. We already have that
Yeah.
audience. I'm looking for the people that we don't have here already. I'm trying to grow us. We don't have a Bradley. We don't have the Bradley audience that would watch you. We're trying to cultivate a new audience that's going to grow with our channel because they like you just the way that you are. And he's not wrong.
Okay, Bradley. I mean, Corey. Sorry, I just figured it out. I'm the problem. It's not you. It's just that I think it's just
We're only a few episodes in. Corey might be a
I
problem,
don't
but
know.
not yet.
I think it might be me because I'm just predisposed to, he's a good-looking, successful executive. I'm just used to dudes like this on shows automatically being distrustworthy and up to no good. And I look at him and I'm just like, the cut of your jib. There's just something about you, but you issue good points, and there's a lot of things that he says to Bradley that do legitimately make a lot of sense, and he's probably being truthful when he says them, and I am just overly paranoid. So I am prepared to issue apologies to Corey for the rest of the season, or not if you turn out to be scheming and awful and whatever else.
Of course, he has his own agenda. He's trying to carve something out for himself, and he thinks that Bradley is the person who's going to get him there. It's kind of the same with the Mia character. She's like, I'm going to be Bradley's producer. I like her. I think that, it's my time to be able to move up. Like, yes, there's a lot of people that want to get their hands in the Bradley cookie jar because she's new and fresh, and everybody wants their opportunity to prove that, they can handle this and that they're going to have their shot as well. It's tough.
Okay, if I have a beef with this episode in general, let's talk believability for a moment, and I can let a lot of things go, see our hijack coverage, but
yeah, you let a lot go with hijack.
It's okay. Maybe if Alex was aboard a plane trying to take down hijackers, I would be able to let things slide more. But the relationship between Alex and some of these network executives, like, I'm just sitting back and just thinking, are these executives meant to be over the top? Is this meant to be satirical? Am I supposed to just view? Because it's just like these executives, with the way that they sort of treat her, like, it is so awful and like so like devoid of any sort of nuance. And she fights back on it, and good for her. But I'm just sitting back being like, I haven't been in these rooms, obviously, but wouldn't executives ever really be like this direct and this harsh towards someone who is kind of the face of this operation? Would you at least try to be a little bit more diplomatic than sort of, rake somebody over the coals for, and what Alex did is obviously beyond the pale of what she should be doing, but it feels a little bit extra to me.
Yeah, this is the thing, is that if they really just wanted to get rid of her, and obviously they did, and what Mitch ended up saying is true, they were getting ready to get rid of her and bring in somebody else. It's just they're missing kind of the point of it, that the audience, yes, it's great to bring in a fresh face and bring in new people, cool.
Yeah.
When Mitch was still fine with the network and they were going to get rid of Alex, sure, that could have been the plan, but that's no longer the plan. Mitch is gone. So you do still need somebody who's stable with the audience. You have to keep them. You can't get rid of both of these people, because then the audience is going to get kind of like weird about it. People like stability, someone that you can relate to, somebody that they're used to seeing on their TV every day. She is the star and the draw. Yeah. The money people behind this, I don't, I'm not some rich executive, so I don't know how anybody is thinking, but at the same time, it's just, they have to know this, that it is out of their control at a certain point where wherever she goes, the audience is going to leave with her at that point. I mean, they're probably already going to have some of that with Mitch not being there anymore, where they're just like, oh, no, Mitch. Okay, then we're gone. No, Alex as well. Well, then what am I here for? You have to realize that she does hold a lot of power, whether they want it to be that way or not. She's the face. People are there for her. They're not there for Fred or Corey or anybody with the money behind the scenes. They spend their mornings with Alex. So it was a little weird that she had to remind them of that after 15 years. It feels like it's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, she had to get told off a little bit to be like, hey, like, that isn't your choice to make. You're not allowed to do that. Like, if we're going to renegotiate with you, like, you got to stop that. But at the same time, you can't go in on her that hard.
It feels as though the show thinks they need to do all this stuff to make us root for Alex. And the truth is, I'm already rooting for Alex. I mean,
Yes.
she's not a perfect person, but nobody in the world as this show is. It's just you guys don't need to go on another level to make, the executives these over the top villains just for the sake of making us want to root for Alex. It feels like they're pushing too hard for that when that is already there because Alex is somebody who is just in really terrible circumstances. She's trying to
Yes.
do her job. She's trying to step up to the plate. She realizes that maybe she, took her foot off the gas a little bit over the past few years, but she's ready to be there. Like that in itself is a really interesting story. And
Yeah.
I just I like the behind the scenes interactions of a network like this. I'm a real sucker for these sort of shows, and I think that's why I'm so excited that now, okay, we're a few episodes in, we've kind of got Bradley and Alex more or less cemented now, and now we
Mhm.
actually get to see them in action.
Yeah, and it was nice to have, there's still barbs being traded back and forth, but it was nice to have that sort of honest conversation on the street where
Yeah,
Bradley's just like, why aren't you coming in for rehearsal? Like, I need you. Sometimes I need, my partner to hold my hand, sort of thing, where we've got Alex on the other side being like, listen, like, I don't really know you that well, but I think I really like you, sort of thing. There's a little genuineness to
yeah.
that. And yeah, we saw at the end, she came in and held her hand for a second and was like, don't mess this
Yeah.
up. But it's, I think that they're going to get there.
I'm just so happy that I could be wrong, and I hope I'm not wrong. I'm so happy that it doesn't seem like this show is just out to try to pit two successful women against each other because it's like I don't want to watch that. That is such a cliche. I am more interested in a complex, interesting relationship with these two that maybe they're not on the same page all the time, and that's okay, but they can still have some sort of understanding, maybe at times of friendship. Like, let's just make this good and complicated.
Okay, let's talk about complicated.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about Martin Short. Oh my goodness, we are 17 minutes in. Martin Short. Okay, we are covering only murders at
Yes.
the building here
Yes.
at the channel. And Martin Short, I mean, in general, what a delight. He's
Yes.
he's such a treasure. I did not expect to see him be such a creep
Yeah.
on this show where he's sitting with Mitch and Mitch is like, oh yeah, man, let's get our stories out there. We're not the bad guys. And as Martin Short's character is going on, it is increasingly like coming out that he is such a
Wow.
bad
Yeah.
guy. Wow.
Uh,
But then hearing Mitch on the other side trying to still be like, I'm not you. Like
yeah.
you're actually a bad guy. Like I'm not a bad guy. Everything was fine, consensual, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we see that moment where Mia goes into his dressing room and presses that button under the desk, and we all know that that's from a real life situation and everything
Yeah.
that happened. We're not going to get into that here. But it was such a creep show also
Yeah.
to watch her press that button and see that door shut and lock like that. I was just like, I felt my heart like
Yeah.
drop out of my chest.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all probably thought somewhere in the back of our head, okay, Mitch is just a big hypocrite. It's just way worse than he's trying to make it out to be. But to actually
Yes.
see it on screen was so, I mean, it was creepy and horrifying, but it was also really, really effective. And to get Martin Short in there, also really effective because I think we both tend to think that you just mentioned it. Both Steve Carell and Martin Short are really regarded as, really likable, fun actors. A lot of people have a lot of love for them. So to see them kind of go against that type, it
Mhm.
really is unsettling. And once again, I'm just really grateful that sometimes it's better not to do a lot of research before diving into a show because I didn't know Martin Short was even on. It's like with Mindy Kaling. I didn't know she was
No,
on this show either.
no.
And it's just like, oh, Martin Short is here. And then you just have a very visceral, different sort of reaction. Like, I still don't necessarily want to be spending this much time with Mitch unless he's like doing something that is directly tied to what's going on the morning show itself. Though, with that being said, of course, I'm thrilled that I got to see Martin Short even for just like a couple of scenes and to cement further that yes, Mitch is as bad a guy as we have all kind of felt that he was.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that since the pilot, Mitch hasn't really needed to be there anymore. He's so far removed from everything else that's going on over at the studio that it feels almost like, we've got the morning show and everything that's going on over
Yeah.
here. And then everything that's happening with Mitch is like a different show at this point of the fallout and everything that's going on because he's not connected really to anything. Like when he was having this conversation with Martin Short's character, I was just kind of like, okay, is this how they're going to tie it in? Mitch is going to start talking to people. He's going to start talking out himself. He's going to bring other men into this. Well, I mean, like, it doesn't seem like that's going anywhere now that we've seen what a creep he is.
Yeah, I still don't have any idea where all this is. I'm sure Mitch is going to try to cause some sort of problems for Alex or Bradley or somebody, but
Mm-hmm.
we've still got a lot of season left. It feels
Yeah.
like now we're getting into the really interesting stuff because now like this new era of the show is about to begin, and that is really, really exciting. And
Yeah.
we'll be here to break it all down. So hit that subscribe button and yeah, join our Patreon. We got the link in the description. We have live chats about the morning show every
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. Thank you
Thank
to
you.
all of our patrons for your support. We'll see you here next time.